Okay, so right now I'm heading to my little local hardware store to get some paint for the Rollpan. Now, like I said, we're not doing the old cliche. We're not doing a show car. We're not going out there and trying to win anything. What's this guy doing, man? But we are wanting it to look better than the whatever that coating is they put on it to ship it so it doesn't rust. So the goal is just to get something on it. You've probably seen the hood on my 73 ended up being that way. It's just one of them things. I never got it painted, never got around to it. And it being a hood, obviously it's getting the brunt of the sun and rain and all that stuff, even though I keep it inside most of the time. But the tailgate on this truck here needs to be painted. Just one of those things, man. It's a work truck, not a big deal, but I would like for the Sonoma to look kind of decent. Maybe I'll get it painted at some point. I want to get the whole truck maybe painted, but that's kind of not super far off, but nothing that's on the horizon at the moment. Don't have to do that. I am looking around for a bed, and if I find one, I'll get it, put it on. Of course, it's not going to match the paint, so, but the dent will be gone. So that's the plan for that. But we're going to head up here and see what we can find that might fit the bill. Something like a dark gray, nothing real shiny, nothing like that. See, when I do these type of little jobs, it's kind of like, you know, dark is always the best. Anything else, it really shows it. I'm sure there's a term for it, but I'm thinking like it's obvious. Like, you don't want it to be obvious you tried to do a decent job but just couldn't pull it off. Or, you know, it's like painting an engine block. Unless the engine's been thoroughly cleaned and you're using a high quality enamel, you know, it's going to show. Maybe you might not have cleaned it, you know, unless you're dipping it, you're not going to get everything off. I don't care what you use. Unless you want to go in there and start blowing gasoline around in some kind of little air nozzle setup or something. I mean, that'll clean it. But overall, if you're just like got a junkyard engine, everyone blows black on it because it just hides it and it looks presentable. And, you know, it just says, hey, we cleaned it up. We wanted to do a decent job. You know, we wanted it to make it look better than it did. I did the same thing on the 93, the Sonoma, with the engine. Of course, I'm not pulling the engine out, but the pulleys and brackets and everything I removed, everything behind it, I hit with some black paint. And then once you get everything on there, you can't really, you know, it looks somewhat clean, presentable, but obviously not, you know, you're not going to the car show and, hey, I'm really proud, I'm gonna show off the engine bay and hopefully I win best engine bay display, best engine bay award. But anyway, kind of over talking, but that's the plan. So I just got to run up here, grab something that will fit the bill. All right, so I found something that I think will work. Might actually be kind of close to the paint that's on it. It's a metallic. I think it's, I don't know the exact name of the paint that's on it, but it's like a gunmetal gray. So it's got, looks like it's got a little flake in it, but that'll be all right. I don't want it to look like I totally try to match it, because even if you try to match it, it's not going to be perfect anyway. So you kind of want to be like, yeah, I meant for it to be a little different. That's just kind of my style, if that makes sense. So anyway, like 10 bucks a can, and go home, get the roll pan off the truck, probably sandblast it just because I can, and get some paint on it. So what I'm going to do now is take off the roll pan. It's got 5 little nuts and bolts that I put in it. It would be easier if I took the tailgate off. Got two 13 millimeter bolts, and undo these straps here, but I'm not gonna do that at the moment. I've got to touch a bunch of stuff up anyway, so a little banging around is not gonna hurt anything. So get these off, and see what I can do about the rest of it. But I got some rust I've got to address on the tailgate. It's got a little buckling spot on it. So no matter where I adjust the roll pan, it still touches a little bit in the center. But it's just where that rust is making it bubble out just a touch, which not a big deal. Again, you know, don't want to get lost in it. Already done enough for this truck here. Oh, so the little video you saw there of the little 360, I had the remote for the gimbal in my pocket, and I'm like, what is going on? So I tried to adjust things. Hey, you live, you learn. We keep mistakes in it too. Nobody's perfect here. I was sitting there thinking, I've already restarted this thing 3 times, thinking, what am I doing? Why is this thing doing this? But it was me that was doing it, because I had the remote. The remote is very sensitive. I'm sure people out there have these things, maybe better than what I've got, but I had it in my pocket, and it was, every time I bent down, it would go to, I was just hitting the little joystick, and it was just going in circles. So anyway, where I was going with what I said before it started doing the little dance, I got a little rust spot to fix in the center of the tailgate, because no matter where I adjust it, it still wants to hit a little bit, and I don't want to lower the tailgate down so much. I mean, the gap on these steel roll pans, the gap is already big anyway, just because of how they're made. But some of the older style roll pans have a little groove in them, so you can get close to the tailgate, so the tailgate will swing and not hit it. But not a big deal here. There we go. That one's loose, I think. So that one's just about out. My foot there. Take some of the pressure off of it. And maybe I should have taken the tailgate off. I didn't think these would be as hard to come out as they were. But now this was like my 93 or something. We'd be a little bit more careful, but as far as this goes, we'll be alright. So, at least it didn't bang the hell out of it on the ground or anything. So, here it is here. Heavier than what it looks, but I think, I mean, I could sand it down, kind of scuff it up and give it a quick paint. I'm gonna see how tough this coating is in my sandblaster, and I might blast it. It's big enough to go in, but I don't know if I could reach. I really can't maneuver it. It's under the dimensions of my box. It'll go in there, I believe, but I might end up with sections I can't reach. I could take like a stick or something like that and maybe tape it to the gun and just kind of reach it over. I think I'm gonna see what I can do with it. So, gotta get the light off, gotta get the these little plastic nuts here for the license plate bolt, and that should do it. All right, so I'm still playing with this thing. Maybe I'm not smart enough to figure it out. Anyway, got it in the box. I think it'll fit all right. I might be able to maneuver it enough to make it work. So here we go. So there it is. I might have enough room to do what I gotta do. I'm gonna give it a shot. Like I said, I've gotta take that light off and those little nuts there, but I think I'm gonna give it a shot, see what happens. Sure beats sanding it, but this, I'm not sure how tough this stuff is, but I'm gonna see here in just a second, just for the hell of it. Compressor to fill up. Just gonna kind of see what I can do with this, if anything, or if it's worth it, the time in it. Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll definitely be worth the time. It's coming off pretty easy. And the compressor's not even filled up yet, so I'll show you here in just a minute. Of course, when I do this kind of stuff, I don't want, you know, flakes of paint to be flying off everywhere. I keep forgetting I've got plenty of hose here. I think what I may do is what I said earlier, is get me a stick and just kind of duct tape it, or just use paint tape. That way I can extend it. But I think I might be able to do okay just with it how it is. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll be happy with that. Of course, the paint will lay a lot nicer. Oh, yeah, I forgot to hook up my, well, it's kind of good because I couldn't make the video if I had everything hooked up. I had to disconnect one of the cords for the vacuum so I could charge. All right, so there you go, out of the box. Sandblast it, go over it with some sandpaper, smooth it out just a touch. Really, you don't even have to, you don't want to, but go over it with that, and then get some paint on it. So this is what I ended up with, the paint that I bought. I don't know if the can was bad or something to that effect, but kind of didn't like the look of it. It didn't say anything about being textured, but it kind of had a textured feel. And I didn't like that, and it kind of came out splotchy. I went over it a few times, just didn't like it. So sanded this all down, pretty smooth. I bought a different can, same brand, same type of can, same type of nozzle, and I definitely like that a lot better. The can that I bought, as I was spraying it, it had like a weird kind of whooshing sound, like it was like being, maybe, you know how something sounds with too much pressure? Maybe it was kind of, you really didn't have like a fanning effect. So I don't know, maybe it was just a defective can, but I did get the inside sprayed. I'm gonna live with that, but I definitely want the outside to look a little better. So I'm gonna get that on some sawhorses here in a bit. Get that sprayed, get the tailgate off, get it back on, and then see what I want to do for the bed. I really don't have to do anything. I mean, I'm going to use this truck quite a bit. So it's going to have tools, lawnmowers, and blowers, and maybe some yard debris, who knows. But since it's here, why not? I've got a can of this. I don't think I'm going to use that because I don't really feel like taping everything off and buying extra cans. Like I said earlier, before, I think I just might take some black on a roller and just kind of roll it, kind of peel off what's loose and just let it ride. I mean, this stuff is a mess. You can spend a lot of time and money maybe getting it off. But again, why? It's going to be used. So I don't see the need in doing all that. It's, you know, I'm just here messing around really. But, you know, prep is everything with this stuff, obviously. So, you know, I've done a couple of these with the store-bought stuff, turned out fairly decent. But if you're actually using it, like I said, the biggest thing is prep. And as you can see, you know, maybe we didn't, I didn't do it, but maybe we didn't prep enough here. You know, obviously if it's peeling off, I mean, it's a lot of work to get in there and sand the bed completely down by yourself. It might look like not a lot of room, not a lot of area to do, but once you get in there and just, if you've ever sanded anything, you know, it just eats up time and you kind of get bored with it. And, you know, then you start thinking, man, is this really worth all this? I mean, like I said, the truck's going to be used. We want it to look decent, but it's going to be used. Anyway, got an appointment to get the windshield replaced. Power washed it the other day, and when I bought it, it was late December, cold, freezing, so we didn't really have a lot of rain, but we did have quite a bit of snow for our area. So I didn't really notice anything like that, but when it was raining, I noticed we have a little leak up here. So that's probably rust. You can see some gaps there. But when the truck was painted, they pulled off that trim, and that might have disturbed some of the urethane under it. No big deal. Get a new windshield in this week coming. And should be driving it. My personalized plate should be here either today or Monday. But she's all legal for the road and all that good stuff. Runs great, as I said tons of times earlier. But I want to get this Rollpan squared away and get this on, and one less thing kind of sitting around. But like I said, I don't know what the deal was with that paint. I kind of didn't like it. Didn't say anything about being textured, but it's definitely got a kind of a texture feel. But I just didn't like the way it looked in general. But so anyway, like I said, I bought whatever they had on the shelf, just a can of gray. It's not super close, but it's close enough for government work. I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, truck's not perfect. We got a dent here. We got paint peeling there. We got some flakage up here. And two, say I'm gonna use that paint and do the mirrors. So at least the roll pan and mirrors match. And sometimes you can be like, hey, I'm trying to be artful here. But in reality, I'm not spending a ton of money taking the mirrors off, taking them to a real paint shop, getting them done correctly, all that stuff. Not to put myself down, but I'm gonna taper up because they were kind of, I think, kind of hacked going in there, and I'm not messing with all that. So we're gonna leave them on. We're gonna tape them up, put some newspaper around, some painter's plastic and all that stuff, and we're gonna tape up the mirror, sand them down a bit, paint those to match the roll pan, and it looks kind of like we're being artful. Magnifique. So stay tuned for that. I'll add that in when I get this painted and put on this evening. A little tack cloth, just kind of get the dust off of it. It is a little breezy out here. Not the best paint conditions, but we're going to go ahead and see what we can do. Give it a shake. Kind of cloudy, overcast. Had a lot of rain last couple of days, so we'll give it a go. That's not too bad. Got a little run right down here, but I'm gonna let this first coat dry. And it dries pretty quick. I'm gonna let that dry and hit that with a little piece of sandpaper and go over it again. The paint could have been cold too. It's been sitting in my shop all night. We lost power last night for about 5-6 hours, so paint might have got a little chilly, but my technique probably off as well. But so that's that on that end of it. But yeah, just a little run right down there. I could probably smear it out now, maybe cover it, but I think we'll just let it dry. course, out here in the slight little breeze, so you're not going to get that perfect mechanical, you know, same layer every time. Because, you know, when you're painting, you see wet paint, you kind of want it to look like pants, like you're pulling on a sheet or putting on a pair of pants. You go and you want to pull that wetness to you. But it'll be all right. I can live with that. Like I said, just scuff that down before I do it again. Like I said, let it dry. And all right, so I got that little run fixed. I think that was a combination of improper technique and wind. Of course, it's slightly breezy out here today. It's a little chilly. We lost power last night for about 6-7 hours. Paint could be a little chilly. Got a decent little wind out here. But anyway, I like that a lot better than the other can. Like I said, the other can had a feel of like maybe too much pressure or something. Like if you held it too far away, well, you know what you want to do normally with the can, it kind of came out like watery, but it still had coverage. So my thought was, well, you know, sometimes you get paint like that, it kind of, the thicker paint kind of runs into itself and kind of fills in itself. This didn't do that. It did cover, but like I said, it just had a weird feel to it. And even like this can here has a nice smooth whoosh whoosh as you're spraying it. But the other can in there had like, it just sounded like too much pressure in the can or something. I don't know. But anyone that's on YouTube knows you can do some pretty decent paint jobs with rattle cans. It comes down to patience and how much product you can put on the part you're working on. Because when I sanded this down with from the other paint job I did on it with the defective can, naturally, you know, your high points, your corners, you know, they're going to sand quicker. But the more you can build it, the more you can work it. So of course that's where the regular spray gun and, you know, your however it's supposed to be mixed and all that stuff, the ratios, and it all comes out the same. So you're getting the same job no matter what. But I did a door for a guy on, I think it was like an 07 Chevy pickup, and it was just a work truck, but he wanted something he got hit in the passenger door. I would have just bought a piece of trim and put on the driver's door of the other, the good door, and the I would have replaced the trim, or not taken the trim off of the passenger door. But he took the trim off, and underneath of it the paint was like a tan gold. Pretty much what I think my something like my 98 is, give or take, but it was kind of close. But anyway, he did that, and he wanted me to paint it. And while painting's not my forte, I took it, sanded it down, and he bought a bunch of those, I think it was Olympic White from AutoZone. Now that's supposedly the same paint, all that stuff, Summit or Olympic White, whatever. But you're dealing with the age of the truck, how old the other paint is on the door. And that door, the passenger door, the one I repaired, had been painted before. It did match, but that was probably done at a body shop. So anyway, long story short, while I'm looking at this thing dry and making sure I didn't miss anything, long story short on that job, I sanded everything down, built it up, you know, filled in what I had to, all that good stuff. And it still didn't 100% match. But where I'm going with that is, you do a big enough area with different cans. Each can sprays a little different. I don't care. I've seen high dollar paint, cheap paint. Each can sprays just a touch different, and it's like each one might run out a little sooner than the other, or the nozzle might be clog up a bit more, or something to that effect. You don't know where each can might have been sitting, what batch it was made in. So the trick to this is building it up to where you've got enough product on the piece you're working on to where you can work it, sand it, scuff it if you have to, do whatever you need. Same thing I did with that little run right here. like I said, got that out. But it was enough there to where I could knock it down and go back over it, and you can't even see it. But anyway, just kind of talking on here. So I'm happy with this for what is going on. I think I've got some clear, some rattle can clear left over from that job I was just talking about. And let this dry. I might put another coat on it. Let it dry. Got to go feed the dogs, walk the cats. And so let this dry up, see how it looks, see how it feels. I might put one more coat on it. I think I've got enough in here for another coat. Oh yeah. And then get it on the truck. But overall, I think I can live with this. So here I am, a little disappointed. I made the mistake of mixing different brands of paint. And earlier you saw where it looked pretty good. It looked decent in the lighter gray, and I found a can of darker gray which matched the truck a little bit better. So I sanded down the paint that was already on it and went over it with the can of dark gray that I found, and it did not like each other. So it started to crinkle and have some type of chemical reaction the minute it touched it. So ended up stripping it all down. Going to re-blast it in my cabinet, and get the matching primer and matching paint for the dark gray, and hopefully that'll go better here in a minute. Okay, so here it is, finished product for what I need. Much happier with the results. Like I said, stripped it all down, redid everything, and much better. It's still kind of wet in some spots, so some of those spots like that you see, that's just drying. It's still kind of wet. It does have a couple of like little bugs and stuff in it, but they'll brush right out, and that's that. So get it on the truck tomorrow, but calling it done for this. I might put some clear on it that I've got, same brand paint. But yeah, no crinkling, no pulling away from itself and all that. So good to go, happy with it. It'll work for the Sonoma. Again, rattle can is what it is. Not trying to put a ton of money into this truck. I already put enough in there, so I can live with this.